Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Let me see. There we go. I still cannot get over those cheekbones. Look at those. Those are some gorgeous cheekbones. Okay. Oh, so I am. Okay. There we go. I will. Oh, yeah, I got to bring up the slides. How could I forget that? Okay, slides are coming up. And as per usual, I don't think we'll be here more than an hour. Okay. Let's see. Hi, Gwendolyn Daniels, Sonia Johnson. Fancy, thank you so much for being here first. And let's see, NJ Yaz, thank you for being here. And everybody else. Okay, slides are coming. We'll make it do what it do. Oh, nope, not yet. Janice Goodrich, hello. Lydia Washington. Who else is here? Kennedy, welcome. I forgot. I know, what was that came before Kennedy? I'm so sorry. I forgot. But the way the things are showing now has completely drawn. Anyway, I'm a little off right now, and I forgot. What was before Kennedy? I'm so sorry. Please tell me. I forgot. I'll wait. No. Oh, let me get the slides up here. There we go. Yes, there we go. Nice thumbnail. Made it myself. I don't use any thumbnail software. I just kind of throw everything together myself. But it has to be of a certain size. Otherwise, if it's too big, you cannot use it for the video. And I've never used any software. Maybe that's what takes so long to make it. Maybe I should invest in some software, shouldn't I? Oh well. It's an investment back into the channel. Okay. So, with love, Megan. Um, anyway, I'll just get into it. Hope everybody's having a good day or night. Montecito. I always look at this picture and I always try to figure out which house is the Sussexes. I know it's not right on the water, so it's back there somewhere. I'm going to guess that maybe it's about a mile from the shore. I'm just guessing. I mean, I would never tell anybody if I knew, but um, must be really nice. They have their own microclimate because the mountains kind of affects the way things. It affects the weather. Okay, and there, of course, is our Duchess walking along the shore. New seasonal drop, meaning the products that we were all expecting. And anyway, I took a look at my credit card statement. I'm just like, what the what? Oh man. But I did save some money for going over the $50. So I appreciate you guys telling me about that. Okay. Some news from Travalyst. After 5 successful years in post, Sally Davy, CEO, Travalyst, steps down. Not for profit coalition leading sustainability in the travel and tourism sector will conduct an internal and external search for a successor this autumn. Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, praises Davy for her exceptional tenure and lasting impact on the organization and the travel and tourism industry. So yeah, we can look forward to that. Well, I mean, not look forward to it, but we will get a new successor. But I don't want to make it sound like it's something exciting because she's been doing a superb job, and I hate that she's leaving. But professional people, after they've done just about everything that can be done, they reach that point where they want to go on to another adventure. And then again, she's very talented. Maybe someone is like pulling her away with a better offer, but it's good to have variety. It's not a bad thing to, I'll tell you, if I had $1 for every time I stayed on a job way too long, way too long, I wish that I would have been more courageous in the past instead of like, oh, yeah. And right now the economy is, I just wish I had just stepped away. I mean, I had so much more to offer and I just did not give myself a chance as often enough. I mean, there were a few times when they're like, we're downsizing. Who wants to go first? And I'd be the first one to stick my hand up. Me. uh, I did that a couple of times. Hi, Legs. Legs says, as long as it isn't Sophie, yes, the fake doctor. Thank you, Legs. I second that emotion. I second that motion. Um, Emotion. What song am I singing? I second that emotion. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, that woman. That's enough. We will just refer to her as that woman. Here, here. We don't want that to happen again. So, Travalyst CEO Sally Davy will step down in December 2025 after 5 successful years leading the not for profit that accelerates sustainability efforts from travel and tourism industry leaders. Um, Travalyst, I think, what if you combine the wealth of all the companies that have signed up to Travalyst, it's like what, $2 trillion, $1.5 trillion. I know it's a lot of money, But people in transportation, housekeeping, or do you call it housekeeping? Well, hotels. Um, a lot of people, and of course, there are some resorts, towns, and things. This is a very important movement, Travalyst. I cannot stress that enough. Harry, who is the founder of Travalyst, I'm going to just try to recall this story from memory. He requested a meeting with Sally Davy to come to Kensington Palace. There was something he was thinking about, and he thought she would be the appropriate, um, CEO for this venture. And so she arrived, not sure exactly what the thing was, but it was Travalyst. It was Travalyst. And so Harry didn't even it wasn't like he went through this long process. I think he just kind of knew that she was the one, and she accepted. And they have done a lot of great work, Travalyst. So, and it is a not for profit. Just remember, it is a not for profit. Under Davies' tenure, the organization has grown from a small coalition of 5 founding companies to providing solutions at a systematic level with collaborations across a wide range of strategic and commercial partners. Developing the Travalyst impact model with Google spearheading the acquisition of Weeva, WEEVA, which has led to the development of the Data Hub and the launch of a global certification initiative. Davy has driven change for good in the industry. In a note to her team partners, Davy shared, and this is her words, "It has been an incredible honor to work with so many impact driven leaders, passionate about the change that's possible and the unique opportunity Travalyst has to shape a more sustainable future for the tourism industry and the planet. I haven't taken this choice lightly. However, it is a possible one, a positive one, that is, one and the right one for me and my family at this time. I'm delighted to leave on such a high note and happy to be with the organization until December. The work continues, and what impact work it is. We can't wait to see Travalyst. We can't wait to see what Travalyst does next. So, um, Prince Harry. Prince Harry had a thing to say. Prince Harry said, "I am so grateful to Sally for her commitment and drive over the last 5 years, which has grown Travalyst's impact and sparked a real change across the travel industry. As this hugely successful chapter closes, we're excited for the next, welcoming new leadership to accelerate our mission and deepen our impact. Tourism must create more opportunities for the communities it touches, and that work can't wait. I will remain committed to the cause now, and as I was when I founded Travalyst 6 years ago. And I know Sally's successor will help deliver the systematic change we all need alongside our board and committee partners." So, job well done, Sally. Let's give her some applause. She deserves it. All right. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. Sorry about that. Hip, hip, hooray. I don't know if you guys saw this, but before I continue with everything else, I I heard a dog whistle earlier. I heard a dog whistle earlier, and the source of that dog whistle is the one on the left side, the one pointing her finger like she ain't got no sense. She's a bit angry. Matter of fact, they say she's always angry. And she not only is angry, but then she made it personal. And that was ugly. That was very ugly on her part. She not only is she angry, but she got very personal with it. Apparently, she's a sore loser. She doesn't like to lose. And well, anyway, there was a few words exchanged, and let me see. I'll let you hear from. Um, oh gosh, what is her name again? I'm so sorry. Um, Townsend, something Townsend. Um, yeah. Anyway, something Townsend. Um, oh wait, let me grab that. I may want to check that out later. All right, I'll cover that one tomorrow. Another bitter Betty. Um. Anyway, I'll let you hear her words, and then we'll get on with it. Okay. Taylor Townsend, that's her name. Taylor Townsend. Um, and the other girl's name is okay. Anyway, let me play this for you. Say bad things.
Taylor, congratulations. Fiery match start to finish. We'll get to it all. Can you fill us in on the conversation you were having with Yelena?
Yeah, I mean, it's competition. People get upset when they lose, and you can't. Some people say bad things. She told me I have no class, I have no education, and to see what happens when we get outside the U.S. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I beat her in Canada outside the U.S. I beat her in New York outside the U.S. So let's see what else she has to say.
You were down 5-3, won 9 straight games. What changed for you?
Honestly, I just locked in. I mean, she was playing really well at the beginning, and when she was playing well, I didn't say anything, and so that just shows class. I mean, sometimes people are playing too good, and you have to just take it. But I turned it up another level, and that's what I'm most proud of today.
Taylor, congratulations! Fiery match, start to finish. We'll get
bitter, and somebody needs to say it. Bitter, 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 bitter.
Well, apparently, Yelena, that's the other girl's name, Yelena, she was defeated. She was defeated. And if you ask me, her tone was rather threatening. I mean, clearly it was a nasty tone, but it was also rather threatening. Wait and see what happens when you get outside of the United States. Really? Is that where we're going? She said that she had no education and that she was low class. I think we all know what word she was avoiding. We all know what she was trying to not say. And it was very low class of her to go there. It was very low class of her to go there. What does her education has to do with anything? She knows enough to defeat you. That's for certain. She knew enough to defeat you. Yeah. Yelena Ostapinko appears to tell Taylor Townsend she has no education after a U.S. Open defeat. They would never, ever tolerate something like that from a black player. Ever. They would never tolerate that in professional tennis from a black player. As a black player, it is incumbent upon you to run faster, jump higher, and always argue the best case, as with anything else in life. The worst thing that could have happened is if Yelena would have began to cry. She would have cried the weaponized tears. Either way, at the end of the day, one of those players are going to receive the worst possible threats, and the other one probably won't. And I think you can guess how that plays out. I mean, there's just some things that are a constant, and that type of behavior would not be tolerated from a Black player. Fortunately, Taylor was able to maintain her cool, and she just let her know, you don't handle defeat very well. That's what she told her. She said, you do not handle defeat very well. I mean, not those exact words, but that is pretty much what she told her, is that you don't know how to lose. You're a sore loser. She says, I'm very strong. I'm very proud as a Black woman being out here representing myself and representing us and our culture. I make sure that I do everything that I can to be the best representation possible every time I step onto the court and even off the court. She said she did not take Yelena's comments as a dog whistle. That's okay, I do. She said would have to answer. Whatever. I cannot. Asta Pinko, yes, there we go. Would have to answer for that. That has been the stigma in our community of being not educated and all of the things that when it's the furthest thing from the truth, she said. The thing is that I am the most proud of is that I let my racket talk, because ultimately I'm the one here sitting in front of you guys, moving on to the next round, getting the next check, moving on, being able to still be here and speak to you guys. And that's what's the most important. And then, of course, Austin Pinko later suggested that she had received messages on social media saying she was racist. How many messages have I received that I am racist, she wrote. Well, you know what? I'm not even going to say. It's a dog whistle. Everybody know what she meant by that. I mean, that is a very bizarre argument to make just because you just lost a tennis match. She says, I was never racist in my life. I respect all nations of people in the world. For me, it doesn't matter where you come from. There are some rules in tennis, and unfortunately, when the crowd is with you, you can't use it in a disrespectful way to your opponent. Uh-huh. Oh, well, let me see. It wasn't anything targeted toward her or trying to take her off her game or her rhythm. Townsend said, I just was doing my thing. Honestly, laugh at it. I think it's comical. I think that it's kind of funny because then you go online and have to justify what you said. You obviously feel some type of way and feel like you have to give an explanation for how you acted. Townsend moves on to play either Anastasia Potapova, or the number 5 seed Mira Andreeva in the next 3 rounds. Okay, she packed up, she's gone, I'm here, and that's the only thing that matters. I love that. She's packed up, she's gone, I'm here, and that's the only thing that matters. All right, I love that. Well, there is a term for that type of behavior, and let me see, where is it? Let me see. Oh, there it is right there. There is a term for that behavior. Yes, there it is. The caucasity of it all. That's what that was. What's that? It's funny because she's not held accountable. White privilege will do that for you. Serena got penalized for the slightest. Yeah, I mean, even today, even after the Williams effect, that is, Serena and Venus Williams, even after the effect that they've had on tennis, it's still this mentality that the black players just do not belong there. It is still very much that. And it's a notion that hides in plain sight. That notion hides in plain sight. Yeah, and you know what? As you look at them, they are quite evenly matched in terms of stature. As a matter of fact, I think that Yelena is actually even larger. So, there was always this idea that the Williams sisters, that they were just so much stronger than the other players. Well, I tell you, you're that is definitely not part of the equation here. Because Yelena's a big girl, huge. I mean, they're both, very, very fit. But anyway, she's yeah, and I agree. She gives the bully. She gives a very bully energy. It's too bad. Um, she just could not accept the loss. I mean, just pack up your stuff and go. You're done. You're done. It doesn't get any more complicated than that. You're done. No class and no education. Well, what does that mean? You have no class and no education. What? How the Duchess of Sussex became Meghan Inc. I got to go back and watch that interview one more time. Very, very good interview. And even the parts that made me uncomfortable, I believe that our Duchess handled it with a great deal of grace. She didn't seem flustered by it all. And and the part that comes up about the politics of things, you really can't have it both ways. And when I say you can't have it both ways, I'm speaking to the royalists, the monarchists. They want so bad for Meghan to put a foot wrong. As a matter of fact, if you listen to them, she's never put a foot right. But 2016 was a very different time for her. That election of 2016 was a different time. She was not the Duchess of Sussex. Meghan respects her husband. She respects Queen Elizabeth II, who gave her the title, the Duchess of Sussex. She respects her position in that family, even though they are not over there. And she also respects her children, who are also, guess what? They are a prince and princess of the realm. And so the rule is you just don't get into politics. She's done with that. There's so many other ways where you can speak, either for or against things based on how you feel about it. And as tradition dictates, royal women, they'll choose certain colors, they'll choose certain designers, they'll choose appropriately, which is nothing new in the royal family. So she chooses carefully. She always has. And now it is basically part of, she is still the Duchess of Sussex. Just because she's not over there, just because the Queen is dead. Now, whatever we think of the Queen, fine. But she had a relationship with the Queen. She appears to have been very fond of the Queen, and likewise, the Queen was fond of her. And we can always say, this one didn't do this one should have done that. But the truth is, we were not there. We don't know what was said. We don't know what kind of outer pressures were being levied against this person or that person. We just don't know. But I take Meghan at her word. She said that the Queen was very kind to her. She liked the Queen. The Queen seemed to like her. And the Queen gave her a title, and that title does not come with political affiliation. Quite opposite of that. You avoid politics. So who she was in 2016, she's still that person. But I can't say everything I want to say. Nobody is allowed to yell fire in a crowded theater. Not even the President of the United States, even though it seems that way. But he has people that he must answer to as well. We all do. So one of the things that has frustrated me with Royal Sussex is there's a lot of people who really need their own channel that want me to be their sword and shield on this occasion or that occasion. But only one person is responsible for making sure that this channel is not closed, canceled, deleted. And that's me. I'm responsible for all of the content that comes out of this channel. And whether something is right or wrong, I wouldn't have a chance to even respond to it if I don't have a channel. Because a person is famous or rich or powerful in their own right doesn't mean that Meghan is supposed to be the sword and shield to everything and everybody. It just doesn't work like that. She has her children to consider. And whatever happens, I would lose respect if she didn't think about her children first. I would lose respect for her. I want her to always consider her children first. And being considerate of her children, she must consider what the mandates of her position are. Those children has a father who is a royal prince, and he wants them to have all of the advantages, all of the privileges that comes with his birthright. Lord knows he paid enough for that privilege, more than any other living royal in that family. He's lost his mother. He's been driven out of his nation of birth. They've turned his wife into the ultimate villain. They have been wanting to delete the entire family. What more does he have to pay? So I just hope people will remember that when you take a deep breath and decide what someone should say or shouldn't say, what they should do or should not do, You don't know what that person's day is like. You don't know who's threatening them from one day to the next. Very important to consider everything. So there you go. That's what I have to say about Meghan's political part of that. Because there have been this speculation. Oh, she should this, she should that. I stay so far away from people that say, you know what you should do? It's not easy to be everything to everybody. It really is not easy. But her family comes first. So, Meghan reveals never before seen photos from royal wedding reception with Prince Harry in With Love, Meghan. The Duchess of Sussex reminisced about her wedding day in a new episode of the Cooking and Lifestyle series. Okay, so we have not seen those before. So I'm guessing the one on the left side is at the Frogmore House. I believe that's the one that they used for the wedding reception, not the Frogmore Cottage. That is the Frogmore House. Frogmore is part of the Great Windsor Estate, and the name comes from the incredible amount of frogs that were in that area. It is a very saturated area because there's a pond and everything over there. So yeah, there's like habitats on the Great Windsor Estate, lots of wildlife and such. And well, you have that very large house, which is really no one's residence, but it is part of the Crown Estate. So at the time, Queen Elizabeth was the one who decided, who had access to it and for what. And then, of course, is our wedding reception on the right. You can see Harry dancing and everything. Meghan swooning. Okay. Oh, I missed that one. Okay, fireworks. We only ever see the picture of Harry and Meghan with the fireworks, but there you can get a good image of the crowd. Must have been incredible. And that, oh my goodness, what is that? Fried chicken at core. Fried chicken at core. Uh-huh. Well, I'm guessing those must be edible flowers, and it looks like the chicken is resting on a bed of edible greenery of some sort. And I don't know what that is sticking up out the back, but oh well, if it's edible, it's edible. That's all I could say. What's that? If you knew what I knew, yeah. Yeah, I think about that with public people all the time. When I see how a person behaves or responds to situations, I've always been the person that my first thought goes to, what must they be going through at this point? What is behind this? But in particular, I am old enough to know that anytime there is a person of African descent in spaces that are usually the reserve of other people, usually, of course, white people, that the level of threats are greater than ever before. And of course, the tolerance level for that individual who just happens to be of African descent is very low. Every little thing is magnified, so much so that you would think it was the end of humanity. I've seen it over and over again in my lifetime. No one in that family ever received more threats than Meghan. None of them ever received more threats than Meghan. For all of the nastiness about Kate Middleton, I wonder how many people was threatening her life. I mean, I could imagine there may have been some rogue English teacher out there who might have had it in for her, right? Some English language scholar that may have had it in for her. But aside from that, you know, I doubt if her existence has been threatened, and least of all, not as often, and not for the same reason, surely. Okay, let me continue here. Oh, take a look there. Now that looks like some type of tent. Uh-huh. Pretty. I don't know. I think I should have zoomed in on these a little closer. And who knows what that is? Core. What does core mean? Anniversary dinner. Oh, is that a restaurant? I guess that's a restaurant, core. Oh, your order has shipped. Something special is headed your way. Okay. Something special is headed my way, y'all. I guess that's my as ever. As if, as ever. Let me take a look and see if that is my oh yeah, it's the marmalade. The marmalade, the shortbread mix is on the way. And maybe something else. I don't know. I'm looking for the apricot spread. That's the one I'm really excited about because I had my mouth all ready for it. I had my mouth all ready for that apricot. Oh yeah, this is the orange marmalade in the keepsake package. Okay. All right. Okay, so at least I know that's on the way. Yeah, so Core is the restaurant, I believe, where they had an anniversary dinner. Very nice. And there's another one from the reception. I think I did that one twice. Or did I? Yep, I think I must have done that one twice. Oh, well, no matter. And let's go here. I'm loving that yellow. And I believe Lydia told me it was sold out. But yeah, loving that yellow. Love the photo on the left side. One of the squaddies created that collage on the right, capturing all of those different emotions, which I love it. Thank you for doing that. Oh, okay. Thank you for that. The owner, head chef of Core, is a woman. Nice. Thank you so much for that. Now, look at her face, y'all. Look at her face. Take a look at her face. She is disgusted. She is livid. She is absolutely livid. You could just look at her face and tell that she is 100% livid. Meghan's Netflix show returns, and look at what it has done to her face. Look at what it's done to her face. Is that what happens when someone's shows return to Netflix? All of a sudden, your face is like she looks like Waylon Flowers and Madam, doesn't she? She reminds me of Madam. I mean, she is literally turning into Waylon Flowers and Madam. She has that something stink look on her face. Woo! She is pissed. But what is she so upset about? Well, I'm going to let you hear this exchange because look who's back, y'all. Look who's back. Remember the one there on the left side? She's back. She's back. Okay, let me get this set up for you guys, and here goes.
And entertainment reporter.
Uh-oh. Try that. Okay, here goes, you guys.
TV presenter and entertainment reporter Ellen Cochran.
What struck me about what I've read about it, she's only got fame because she's married to Prince Harry.
I would disagree that she's only got fame because she's married to Prince
Come
Harry.
on. I'd never heard of her till she started dating Prince Harry. I'd never heard of Suits either.
But that's you. I was a massive Suits fan, and so were millions of other people around the world. Yes, they were. Yeah, believe it or not, we still watch Suits on repeat now. It's a very good show, actually. Maybe you should tune in. It's very good. But she definitely didn't become famous because of Prince Harry. She was famous in her own right. She was also UN ambassador for women's rights around the world. So she was a philanthropist before she met him. She was actually the perfect princess, and actually the royal family fumbled a small bit there by not keeping her in the royal fold because she would have done incredible things with them. But I'm sure she has a lot more freedom now on the outside.
Ellen, can I just say that is a little bit fake, isn't it? It's not real. It's not even her own kitchen.
Yeah.
So it follows on from all the things she has done in the past where maybe what we're seeing and what she's saying isn't necessarily reality.
Well, this is actually standard for cooking shows. Nobody cooks in their own kitchen. It's a set. So if she was to cook in her own kitchen, she'd have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old running around her feet. It would be chaos. Harry'd be coming in to make his breakfast in the morning. So I don't think anybody expected her to actually be cooking and making a Netflix series in her own kitchen. That is just complete industry standard. You do it that way. It's not fake at all. I can understand why the British press see it as inauthentic, and because it is very Americanized television, so it's not something that we're used to seeing. It's curated, and but it's made to be like that. The production is like that. If you've watched any sort of Martha Stewart cooking shows, they are very curated. That's just the way they are. But nobody's forcing anybody to watch the series. She's put it out there for people who like her, fans. And if you go by the last series, it's got 5.4 million viewers in its first week. It was the top of 5 Netflix show for half of 2025. So regardless what the British press think of Meghan and think of her shows, the viewing figures do not lie.
TV presenter and entertainment reporter Ellen Cochran.
What struck?
Okay, thank you, Ellen Cochran. I love her. Once again, she has said what pretty much the same things we would have said. And I think she's from Scotland, maybe. Ellen Cochran. Okay. Anyway, good report. Okay. Let me take a look at some of your comments here. All right. Okay. All right. I'll check the comments again. Ingrid Sowers, thank you so much for joining us. All right. This guy right here, Andrew Pierce, a man who looks like a slowly decaying ventriloquist dummy from the 1940s, is under investigation for groping two people at the Daily Mail. Good. Karma comes calling for his hateful. But of course, that's it has never been substantiated or anything like that I know of. So who knows what happened? I have to give him the benefit of the doubt, even though he wouldn't be likely to do that for a lot of people that we know. But we have to give him the benefit of the doubt because until it has been proven or established, or anyway, I'm just saying he's not the his public image leaves a little bit to be desired, but because he's a raging conservative and a decaying ventriloquist dummy from the 1940s. By the way, what does a decaying ventriloquist dummy looks like? Oh, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. My goodness, the resemblance is breathtaking. A decaying ventriloquist dummy, if I've ever seen one. The suit is threadbare. The smile, well, non-existent. Yeah. It looks very whatever that is. It looks very animated. The one on the left looks very human, but those three photos on the right, they look very, very unreal, animated. Oh yeah, I'm going to get to that in just a second. But anyway, that is Andrew Pierce. I'm not a fan. He was one of those people that was lucky enough to get an invitation to Nana Akua's wedding. The wedding of the week, certainly not the month, certainly not the season, never of the year. But I'm going to be gracious enough to give Nana the wedding of the week. Yeah, it was the wedding of the week. We never seen anything else like it. But whatever happened to Mr. Pierce, I'm sure was a big misunderstanding. I'm certain he's not capable of doing anything as disgusting as that. All right. This has become quite the viral moment, and rightly so. Rightly so. Watching Meghan's show makes you feel lighter and puts a smile on your face. I love all episodes, but the vintage masala daba gift had me choked up. Meghan is really a thoughtful, fun-loving, kind person. Guys, I watched the last episode earlier today with Chef Jose Andres. And why did I feel super, super emotional watching the last episode? Why did that kind of cause me to get a little weepy? Yes, I began to get that urge to weep uncontrollably. Why is that? It just I'm gonna have to watch it again. I just want to watch it again. I really want to, as Meghan would say, sit with it. I really want to sit with it. I'm going to say the last episode was my favorite, and the one that I was sure that I don't know, for some reason I thought I wasn't going to like it, is also one of my favorites. I didn't know anything about a few of these people, and now I'm just like, I wish I had friends like that. I wish those were my friends. That's what I'm saying. Even the people that you didn't even know, you just you feel closer to them just from watching this. So the masala daba, in case you haven't seen it, that's what it is. It is a bowl with a lid that you can keep all of your spices and your you know your spices, your seasonings. You can keep it inside of this very traditional container. Everything is very handy. Being an American or being, in the West, we're so accustomed to our seasoning, our spices. We're so used to everything inside of those little plastic bottles, and you just shake it out, or you take the lid off and you stick the little spoon in there or something like that. These are the kind where, in some instances, you just pinch it and, a pinch of this and a pinch of that. I know whenever I make curry, I use a lot of everything except for salt, but I use a lot of everything. So I could easily justify having something like this. That is beautiful. I think I'm in love with the brass one. I love that brass one. But the one that she gifted to Tan, I think I like that one even more because it is a vintage item. And I'm sure that you can just smell the years of usage. It is a very beautiful thing. I mean, it's just like something, if you have that big island in the middle of your kitchen, it would be a great place to just leave it so that every time you walk through, it'll be right there. So yeah, that is amazing. Here's another great one right there. Good day, fam. Last time my obsession was the rather expensive Le Creuset cookware. This time it's the vintage Masala Daba our Meghan gave Tan France. I'm on the hunt. So far, it looks like Etsy is the place. Do I cook? No. I'm buying one. Yes. Do I cook? No. But I am buying one. Um, you know what? I want to take a look at that right now. The Etsy, and I'm going to do Daba. I'm sorry, Masala Daba. Just to see what they have. Just to see what they have. Ah, they got a lot of them. They have yes, I see what she means. That seems like the place. That is the place. So if you're shopping for one, I think that is the place to look for it because they have a lot. Yes, I love the brass though. The brass is beautiful. Oh my goodness. When you guys get a chance to, make sure you go over there and take a look. But I love that dark wood, like the one that Meghan gifted. I love that dark wood. Oh, I see one here. Vintage primitive wood masala daba, $54. Still not as nice as the one that Tan received, but this is nice. This is very nice. Has a very rustic, charming look to it. That is very, very nice. Anyway, if you guys are shopping for one, that is a good. Oh my God, look at that one. Look at that one. Okay. Anyway, that is where you go look for it. So here's a bunch of comments I was today years old when I found out what a masala daba is. What an incredible sentimental scene. I could feel how meaningful this was to Tan France. Wow. This is such a beautiful moment. Yeah, it gave me goosebumps too. And the way how he was looking at her quizzically, as if, is this for real? I just received an heirloom I can pass down to my kids, Meghan. It's so thoughtful. The third one says, can I get over the thoughtfulness of this whole thing? I'm sorry, I can't get over the thoughtfulness of this whole thing. Both the act of buying a gift that speaks to you, knowing it'll find the right home with someone you care about is then being able to beautifully gift it to someone who will cherish it is so pure and wholesome. Next one, so pure, and I know that Duchess Meghan will forever be part of Tan France's legacy, is just stunning to me. Wow. Next is, yes, OMG, I would so get it engraved, name, date, who gifted it. You could tell he held in that cry too. Too sweet. And then the next one says, when a simple thought is put into a gift, you can give the receiver such an extraordinary sense of appreciation and gratitude that the giver took but a moment to think about them as an individual person. This is great. Ooh, my eyes are burning. Why did I make this so small? When I tell you I felt that I was about to shed a tear for him, had no idea that the spice box held such a deep and cultural meaning, and then to hear that it'll pass down from generation to generation was like, wow. He was so blown away by it. What an incredible part of the episode. This was so heartwarming. Masala Daba gift from Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, to Tan France. Saw a comment on TikTok basically saying, imagine having a family heirloom, a masala daba gifted by Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. Unreal. I think he knew how special that moment was, why he said he got goosebumps. And lastly, that gift literally stunned him. Ooh, I had to close my eyes tight for a minute. Oh, well. Yeah, that is too small. I'm not going to do that again. I got to make the letters bigger so I can, you know what I'm saying? That is very tight. The fish market. Yeah, the fish market was great. Yes, I thought they were about to do some boots on the ground, to be honest with you. I thought they were about to do some boots on the ground. Where them fans at? Where them fans at? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, I thought that was going to be the end of the party right there. But it's a vintage masala daba. And Meghan, yes. I mean, look at his face. Look at his face. His face says it all. His face says it all. He was not expecting that. I hate to bring up the Left Behind royals, but this is like an impact that I don't think most people in that family could ever have. Even the ones that marry into the family. because the ones that marry into the family, aside from Meghan, would be terrified to be so familiar with someone. You know what I'm saying? They would just give a autographed picture of themselves. They wouldn't have enough courage to be as thoughtful for fear of being persecuted or ousted or something. Here's a couple of great images of the Duchess of Sussex. The one on the left, that's from the party, that great party. And you can see she's having some of that wine that they selected for the party. Book shopping on the right. This episode, filmed in the heart of Malibu, is dedicated to the first responders and all those affected by the devastating fires that swept through communities across California in early 2025. With love to all our neighbors. That was at the end of the last, or I think it was the second to last episode, but I thought that was great that they dedicated that. It was very cool. And right here, I believe this young lady, what is it there? Walls Manit. Anyway, yeah, that's her last name is, or is that her first name? It says, "Dear Manit, a little something to make you smile. As ever, Meghan." Yeah, so I don't know who she is, but she's got a letter from Meghan, a card from Meghan. So Meghan sent her something. I apologize. I don't know what that was for, but very sweet. So, of course, you have to have that framed. Uh-oh, I went too far. There we go. And Zandy Sussex was nice enough to show us the image of Guy that ended up in the that Harry used for the poster that he gave Meghan, the frame picture. Like says, seen the Royal Foundation financials? Scammers. Thank you very much, Legs. Yeah, was that Zandy Sussex who pointed that out to us? I think I shared that a couple of days ago. How their finances are all over the place. How they refuse to disclose certain things. And check this out, you guys. Farage. I'm just kidding. It's all about Taylor Swift and what's his name. Good for her. You know what I'm saying? It's so childish that they have this idea that Meghan is upset with Taylor Swift and so on and so forth. Meghan was one of the people who sent a congratulations to her from her personal Instagram, among others, including other members of the royal family. You guys, I like Taylor Swift. I don't listen to her music. I don't know any of her music. All I know is Shake It Up. But I know that she's they constantly try to pit her against other people, and she just doesn't take the bait. I know that during election time, she made the right choice, and I respect that too. Does she get everything right? I don't know. I don't know enough about her. Does she do anything wrong? I don't know. I don't know nothing about it. But the limited stuff I know, I think she has, conducted herself properly. And, she hasn't, and yes, I know she dated someone that was a real right winger and all that kind of stuff. I don't care about that. She's enjoying the fruits of her labor as any man would, if you understand what I'm saying. She picks and chooses as she has a right to, seeing that she's wealthier than most men and have resources like her private jet or fleet of automobiles or whatever. She's enjoying her life. She worked for what she got, and I think my favorite moment for anything Taylor Smith and Beyonce was when they both went when they met to watch each other's concert movies. I thought that was a great way to neutralize a lot of what the tabloids have been trying to do for years. Just as Gwyneth Paltrow and Meghan, they neutralized a bunch of nonsense before it even started. I think that's the best thing to do because nobody wins in those situations. It only causes a great deal of hostility and apathy. And the only people that win is the tabloids. So if Taylor affected the economy, good for her. They say that Taylor choosing the type of diamond has done something to the diamond industry. Good for her. She'll probably make a lot of money from the wedding. Good for her. I just don't have anything against her. I'm glad that she's getting married. I wish her the best. Long as she keeps Meghan's name out of her mouth, we'll probably never have a quarrel, as far as I'm concerned. Jennifer Clark, thank you very much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Okay. Oh my goodness. Maybe Rick's. I've been here for a while. I'm battling pancreatic cancer. After breast cancer, I'm scared and still in shock. Please pray for me. Absolutely, we will. Absolutely, we will. And do know that, spiritually, we are with you. Your Sussex Squad family is with you. And just focus and concentrate as much as you can. Pray, because our bodies always want to heal. That's what our bodies want, is to heal. But prayer does work. It does work, and we will be praying for you. Amen. Okay, I was just taking a minute to do exactly that. So thank you for sharing that with us, Mamie Ricks, and just remember, we are with you. We are with you. Okay, let me see. What's that? I love the episode as well. I watched the show a few times already. Of all of the arts and craft. I think the first show of the season really caught me off guard. Like I said, it was very chaotic, but I love the chaos because I love the way that with all of that frantic movement and reaching, and the camera was driving me a bit crazy. And what came out of it was a feast. I thought that was very impressive, that it all wound down to them having s'mores. Yeah, I don't know. I felt like I was there, just kind of observing and not helping. I almost felt guilty because I was observing and not helping. But yeah, that was I'm glad they started the season with that one. It was a great appetizer for the rest of the season. So I'm glad they started with that. But yeah, it was quite chaotic, but in the end, it made sense. I guess I felt a little anxious because as a kid, how many times have I been kicked out of the kitchen? You know what I'm saying? Especially when there's a big meal coming up or something like that. So I guess some of that childhood anxiety of too many people in the kitchen. I'm just waiting for somebody to have a meltdown, but it all went very well. Oh, thank you for that, Sonia Johnson. Connie Bomber, you just got here. I didn't know you were here. Let me see. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. From the first episode of the first season to the very last episode, like anything, you could see they were finding their voice, right? And that, and also let me just say this. I am fascinated with that kitchen. That kitchen has magical properties. Just about anything you want to prepare, that kitchen is very well stocked. And that is impressive. I don't know how they, it doesn't seem like it was discussed at all. But if it's not in the kitchen, it's out in the garden. So I was very impressed by that. Oh, we have that. Oh, yeah, we have that. Do you have it was something they said, and she said, yeah, we have that too. I was like, okay, I like this kitchen. I mean, if you can dream it, we can build it. I like that. Okay. What do we have here? Now, when I see a bunch of cryptic looking numbers like that, I'm not sure what I'm looking at. But Nico Max says, guess we won't let them, Meghan. I'm sorry, we won't. One more time. Guess we won't tell them, Meghan. The Duchess of Sussex was just on Bloomberg TV broadcast in 60 countries for a 43-minute interview. Who won Bloomberg TV? Again, hint is in the name. And he is supposedly linked to Egg's delusions of grandeur, which of course means that yes, Michael Bloomberg is doing something with the Earth shot. But yeah, I don't understand the matrix I don't understand what I'm looking at here, but I'm going to take Nico's word for it. I mean, I see it and I'm just like, okay, well, what I'm looking at? What I'm looking at. But yeah, so okay. Thank you, Nico. I don't understand what I'm looking at here. Zakoy Farms, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you being here. Yeah, so yes, good for that. All right, Duchess Meghan's pantyhose comment is causing a lot of royalist tantrums. Doesn't everything cause a royalist tantrum? Isn't that just about anything? The Duchess of Sussex gave people a lot to consume this week. The new season of With Love, Meghan came out on Tuesday, as did a new As Ever product drop. A new interview with Meghan also came out Tuesday. A great piece with Bloomberg's Circuit with Emily Chang. So, let me see here. Meghan came across really well, in my opinion. This is from Kaiser of Celibacy. And she seemed pretty loose as she chatted and joked around. At one point, Chang asked Meghan about relatability, and Meghan's answer has caused a lot of fury in the British press. I can't help it. I'm laughing my behind off at everyone over there freaking out because Meghan basically rolled her eyes at royal pantyhose protocol from the Sun. Yeah, so and let me see. Oh, okay. It says Meghan has made yet another dig at the royal family as she claims she couldn't be vocal in the UK. The Duchess of Sussex opened up about how her life felt inauthentic several years ago in an interview with Bloomberg Originals. So this is from the article from the Sun, I think it is. Yeah, from the Sun. Okay. The mother of two who lives in a, you ready for it? £12 million Montecito mansion and spends her evenings learning French on Duolingo, has asked if it's hard to appear relatable. Remember, this is from the Sun. She replied, "No, I'm just being myself. I think it was probably different several years ago where I couldn't be as vocal and I had to wear nude pantyhose all the time. Let's be honest, that's not very myself. I hadn't seen pantyhose since movies in the 80s when they came in a little egg." I love that. That egg comment really gave me my life. That felt a little bit inauthentic, but that's a silly example, but it is an example of when you're able to dress the way you want to dress and you're able to say the things that are true and you're able to show up in a space really organically. That's being comfortable in your own skin. The Sun, Matt Wilkinson, referred to this as a vile dig. It is the pantyhose story which brought down the British Empire. Meghan's pantyhose is slapped in the face to the dead queen. Yes, a slap in the face to the dead queen. Queen Elizabeth told all of her friends how furious she was about Meghan's pantyhose. Would you like to see someone else freak out about the pantyhose story? Behold, Tom Sykes, Royalist Substack, where he threw a full-on tantrum about Meghan daring to mention the royal pantyhose protocol. Okay. Okay, this is oh yeah, this is from his Substack. I can't be alone in finding Meghan's habit of painting British royal family as an oppressive, straitjacketed, deeply hypercritical when every ounce of her fame, wealth, and celebrity springs from her membership of it. Now that's a lie. Without the Duchess of Sussex strict into her bio, there would be no Netflix deal, no glossy rosé launch. This is what gets me, is that they totally want to downplay the fact that Meghan was on television for 7 seasons, 7 years, not just seasons, but 7 years on Suits. She was on Suits. She had a deal with a clothing line. She was known in the philanthropic community. She gave a speech at the United Nations. She traveled on behalf of World Vision. That doesn't sound like someone that nobody knows. Esteemed journalist Linda Ellaby has been knowing of Meghan since she was 13 years old. Hillary Clinton was no stranger to Meghan. Meghan wrote her letters. Meghan is a letter writer, and she's been in touch with a lot of people for a long time. And yes, she grew up in Los Angeles. Her father worked on television, married with children. So she was one of those family members in that community. So she's been a known person for some time. Has she been world famous? No, not initially, but eventually I just think a lot of people did not realize that the Meghan that was on Suits was the Meghan getting married to Harry. I'm sure most people knew, but there were some people who just did not realize that the two people were the same. And so Suits went into the stratosphere. But Meghan has done the same thing for the royal family that Princess Diana has done. For better or for worse, Meghan has made them relevant, albeit to a bunch of right-wingers and evil monarchists. Not that all monarchists are evil, but you know what I mean. But to a select, I would say, minority within the monarchist community, it's a minority, but the majority of them saw it as a breath of fresh air. But there were some people that just hated Meghan from the beginning, not knowing anything about her. They didn't like her from the beginning. Yes, okay, maybe there was some anti-Americanism, but the majority of the hostility came from good old-fashioned racism. And it just doesn't bother people that a bunch of old white men and a bunch of old white women are on television critiquing, belittling, and otherwise being downright hostile to this woman of African descent from the United States. And what shocks them is that there are so many people in the United States that know this song and dance very well, and we just are not going to tolerate it. I've said this before, and I will say it again. It does not surprise me that there are so many white women in the United States, white men in the United States that recognize what has come from the British tabloid media as racist. And there are quite a few that have called them on that. I'm not just talking about TikTokers. I'm just talking about real people. Not every white person, not even most white people in the United States, turn a blind eye and say, oh, no, that couldn't be racism. But the very vocal people are the ones that will give you the dog whistle and pretend like they'll gaslight you and try to make you believe it's not what it is. But I grew up in this system. I've seen the press call out racism. Now, the press has changed a lot. A lot of these newspapers have been hijacked by the likes of Murdoch and such. So they don't do that like they used to. But, there was a time I grew up and, they covered it as it was. You had a lot of people that went to school that wanted to make the world a better place, and they called out racism. They covered the inequities. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like there's a will to do that as much in journalism in the UK, and we're losing the will for that in the US, which is unfortunate. But that's the system I grew up in, where I expected, and most times I could depend on the media calling people out for their racism. Nowadays, they follow the dear leader in the White House, and they just don't, they don't report things like they used to. But that's how I grew up. I grew up at a time when it seemed like most of the media was on my side. Now I can't depend on that anymore. But that's what I grew up with. Let's see. I just got a Cash App, and I don't like to say the names, but thank you so much for the Cash App, and I really do appreciate that. Okay. Let me see here. Oh, Alice Langdon, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for being here tonight. I really do appreciate it. Okay. All right. Okay, let me take a look at a couple of your comments before I go on. Yeah, they certain coverage, they're very selective about what they will credit Meghan for, and they're also very selective about how they credit Harry. Yeah, I was Team Diana from the start. I never got into Will and Kate, and it wasn't because I didn't like them. They're nothing about them inspired me. And the truth is, there wasn't that much coverage stateside. William and Kate did not get a lot of coverage. There's more coverage now for them than ever before. But William and Kate did not get a lot of coverage, and it wasn't because of Harry. They just did not get a lot of coverage. I forget which, it was NBC that during the wedding cut back on their coverage because of a lack of interest. And then it was one of the I think it was Carol Malone, who said that if you put Will and Kate together, you could not cobble a personality between the two of them. They are very flat and very lackluster. They do not inspire much. When Harry came for his solo tour of the US, it was pandemonium. They said you could hear the clickety click, click, click of heels on the floors of the United States Congress. But see, Harry curated that trip to the US. He had the duty that was necessary, and then there was what he wanted out of the trip, like going to the Wounded Warriors games and going to the 9/11 site. A lot of that happened was Harry, who they seem to try to convince people is not altogether there. He knew exactly what he expected out of it. There was his royal duty, and then there was what he wanted out of it. And it was incredibly successful, as all of his tours have been, before and after being married. Incredibly successful. Harry, who single-handedly saved the Jamaica from leaving the Commonwealth. Well, good luck next time. And I still believe that those polls are so skewed. A great deal of the polling depends on how you ask the question. And of course, a select group of people that you pose these questions to, given the fact that most people have mobile phones, cell phones, the landlines are gone. I just don't know how you successfully poll people anymore. Polls are sometimes wrong. Look at the last election. And I'm not talking about whether or not anybody won, but that whole thing with Iowa that came out the last minute during the last election. Now, either that was pure deception, where it looks like Iowa was going Democrat, or the poll was just wrong. It happens. But they cannot allow Harry and Meghan to seem too popular, too capable, and of course, overshadowing the rest of that institution. They just cannot accept that. And whatever strings they have to pull to make sure that it never appears that way, that they could even just sow seeds of doubt of their popularity, they'll do it. They'll do it. But when it comes to the Sussexes here in these United States, every place that they have gone, they have been incredibly popular. As Ted Sarandos has said about Meghan, I've been around a lot of celebrities. I've been around a lot of famous people. And there is just no equivalent to the excitement of having Meghan in the room. Nothing compares to it, he said. And he doesn't have to say those things. He said it because he believed it to be true. Yeah, they won't talk about it. They will not talk about Travalyst. Travalyst is going to be increasingly important because there's a lot of pressure in tourism right now. A lot of pressure. We see what's going on with places like Barcelona and Venice, where you have these tons of people coming in every day, like locusts, and wreaking havoc with the locals and all the infrastructure. Travalyst will adjust that and also address that. Travalyst will also make sure that travel is more sustainable in terms of the people in the communities, helping them to get a better piece of the pie, I hope. And you got companies that want to partner. This is huge. And they just will not mention it. And who knows? Maybe it's better they don't. Maybe it's better that they don't. Because if they do mention it, as they mention it, the lies are going to be right there along with it. So maybe it's better for now. Here are just a few magazines from the past 24 hours. Duchess opens up about everything from the mistake she made on the night Prince Harry proposed to what she misses from her life in London. That was from Harper's Bazaar. Town and Country, popular item like the crepe baking mix are back in stock. Pure Wow says, what is that? Meghan Markle shares tweet home video of Princess Lilibet in PJs. And Vogue says a BTS look at Meghan's beauty prep for season 2. Forbes how Duchess Meghan is building her lifestyle brand from Netflix to as ever. So yeah, those are just some of the headlines. Duchess Meghan has been using this same duffel bag for over 10 years. Harper's Bazaar. I'm loving it. I am loving it. And of course, they do get a cut every time that they run these stories. They link you to how you can buy either that bag or a bag just like it. But that's okay. It's positive coverage. I'm here for it. I am here for it. Just as they say, keep it cute. Let me see. Do I have anything about the bag? I guess I don't. Okay, moving on. Moving on. Well. Look who flew over the cuckoo's nest. And watching all 8 parts of With Love, Meghan was tough. Her cooking was mainly about a chosen slice of bread. She must have thought we were rather brainless. Thought you were brainless? As she also included how to pack a small case, make straight lines on paper, and wrap up a book. She found time to make nasty comments about the royals, but Harry wasn't seen. Forget it all, girl, and get on with your life. She needs to look in the mirror and say the same thing. She really needs to look in the mirror and say the same thing. And for God's sakes, wash that wig. Wash that wig. She didn't think you were brainless. Your post about her show that you let me see. Sussex Soldier says, she's so effing stupid. She proved with that post that she's brainless. No way in the world I would waste my time watching one episode of a show of someone I don't like, let alone 8. Nope, hell no. Always, I'm sure that Meghan and Netflix are thankful to Angela for watching all 8 episodes. Yeah, so they're very grateful to Angela Levin for watching all 8 episodes from start to finish. I'm sure it was quite a chore. And look at this. Back in 2024, Meghan shows no respect for the monarchy and those in it by launching her jam and table stalls when Princess Diana's Memorial Award charity, the late Queen, saw it coming. Has Harry had a say? Does she want to come to the UK purely for selling her goods? She's always like feverishly trying to think of something negative and something nasty to say. That is her stock and trade. I got to think of something negative and nasty to say. Or how about this one? It's been 24 hours since royal author Angela Levin's ugly tweet about color of woman's skin and the media folk outlet who quote her, book her, serialize her books, remain silent. Hardly a shy bunch either. Some usually relish a chance to attack opinions they don't like. And see, this is what I mean. In the UK, where the tabloid media is controlled by those handful of people, and even with that, we all know that the slant of those editors and those who are in the media are all very royalist right-wingers, right? So when Angela Levin tweets, Look how white Meghan's skin color looks. Now, if she was in the U.S., if she was in the U.S., that would have been a thing. That would have been a thing. But in the UK media, where everyone is in lockstep to stay silent, nothing comes of it. Nothing at all. I mean, look at how fast Sharon Osbourne lost her job on the talk. Look how fast she lost her job on the talk. And then what did she do? She moved back to the UK because she could not do that over here. She could not be that Sharon Osbourne over here. Now, unfortunately, mainstream television, as you can see what happened with Stephen Colbert, they are slowly drifting toward this kind of nonsense. But right now, while it's not there, I am going to enjoy it, even though I don't watch much of the mainstream television anymore. But she couldn't have gotten away with that over here, least of all, not a few years ago. How about this? This picture is breathtakingly shocking. How many cameramen do you need to show that you are a mother with compassion? Well, I tell you, now the Welleses have a camera crew of 8 or more people that follow them everywhere. Kate wants to go to a clothing baby bank or whatever for Christmas. She promised the kids that they could go to the baby bank for Christmas. And what happens? There just happens to be a camera crew there. Nothing said about it. Nothing at all. Where's the tweet from Angela? Archwell Foundation partners with NSSCP, the national, well, anyway, have created an honor digital civil rights award. That's NAACP, which it seems Harry and Meghan have won part of for creating is something. It was someone, please tell me exactly what they've done, not just walk about for civil. Anyway, listen. Again, a question that they wouldn't ask of any other royal, especially Charles. Why are Harry and Meghan being treated like heads of state? Remember that when they went to Germany? And why is the red carpet being rolled out? They are now ordinary citizens, which she knows is a lie, and only represent themselves. Something Harry wanted so badly, countries should behave accordingly. Well, Harry and Meghan are not ordinary citizens. They are still a prince and princess of the realm. And as long as Harry and Meghan are married, and if Meghan had married again, which is not going to happen, then she is always going to be the Duchess of Sussex. That's just the way it works. I spent a year and a quarter with him, so I know him very well. Omid Scobie exposed that one. Omid said, I share what Kensington Palace officials told me at the time through Newsweek. Levin was given access to official engagements and a chat with Harry for a 2017 cover, just one magazine cover. Then, without permission, she turned that material into a book. Harry was crushed. His team were furious. Most of y'all know this already, but there's some of y'all who do not know why they referred to Angela as the expert on Prince Harry. She's not an expert. Prince Harry doesn't know her. Angela was given access to follow him. And then after having about a 10 or 20-minute conversation so that they could write a cover story for Newsweek magazine, without permission, she decided to take that 15 minutes of access and turn it into a whole book about Harry, as though she knows him. And then when some people ask her about it, well, you'd be surprised at how much you can observe about a person, and how well you can get to know them from observing. And that's all she was doing, was observing. She didn't see nothing about Harry that anybody else didn't see. As a matter of fact, even less, because she only had a handful of engagements. And so from that, she called herself the Prince Harry expert. And never trust what she says she's seen, because she is the love child of Mr. Magoo. She is the love child of Mr. Magoo. Her eyesight is not very reliable. You can see the family resemblance right there. There's no way that her name is not Magoo. And somewhere down her family mitochondrial line, she is part troll doll. Yeah, I believe that comes from her mother's side. So she has her poor vision from her father's side. Of course, I cannot prove this. This is all speculative. But from her father's side, her poor eyesight. And from her mother's side, that's where she gets those very, you know, unusual features, where she looks like, well, a troll doll. I mean, troll is in her DNA. That's who she is. And of course, the woman who raised her referred to Angela 11 as, what was that? The spawn of Satan. She wrote about that herself. The woman, the poor woman who raised her, did not really care for her. Angela, just 3. I decided enough was enough, and I had to leave home. I gathered my favorite dress patterned with what is that? Bambies and flowers. My potty and my doll. See there? When she say doll, she means her little sister, because both of them are trolls. It says here, does anyone know of a 4-year-old who is so bright she knows the date of his birthday and insists his party is on the same day? I don't know what that referenced, but I think it was something to do with Archie. And so they pointed out, nope, was it? Yeah. They pointed out that in the past, she claimed that she was 3 years old and had the wherewithal to run away. Yeah. She wanted people to believe that she has memories of being 3 years old and what she gathered when she decided enough was enough. In other words, BS. This is what I was going to share yesterday. We're going to close with the Yeti. Another one of those Yeti sightings. I know that there's some of you all who do not believe me when I say that there are a group of individuals. All of them happen to be very privileged white men that are part Yeti. I don't know. I guess I just have a gift. I know a troll when I see one. Angela 11. I know a Magoo when I see one. Angela 11. But in this case, that furry, hairy creature that the natives have spoken about for centuries that creature that has roamed the forest of the great Northwest, the Yeti. I believe that at some point a Yeti has made it with a European. And that is where Thomas Markle comes from. That is part of his Yeti bloodline. You see there? And you can tell the Yetis because they have that ability to pose their knee in any direction. You see that? They're not kneed, they're bow-legged. They can do whatever they want to with that posable knee. They could walk backwards if they had to, better than they could walk forward. It's all in the knees and the stomach. And look at there. Look at there. I told you all that the President of the United States was part Yeti. Another privileged, overprivileged Caucasian man who's always the victim. I wasn't as sure about him as I was about Thomas Markle Sr. until I saw this very ungraceful exit from his golf cart. You don't know which way he's trying to go. He doesn't know which way he's trying to go. But there it is, Yeti. Now, don't ask me how I managed to find this, but here's an X-ray of a normal, privileged white man, right? And then, of course, there's the Yetis. There's Thomas Markle Sr., and then there is the President of the United States. Now, Thomas Markle is exceptional because he can make his legs go every direction. So far, Trump has not really been able to tap into that extraterrestrial power, but I do think he has the makings of it. So I'm not one to brag, but I knew it was something. And of course, there have been many occasions like that time that Thomas Markle went to Westminster Abbey with Charles and Godzilla. Or how about that time Thomas Markle, they all stick together, you know that. How about that time he took a tour of the White House? Or that time that he was invited to the coronation? See there? Or how about Longleat? Yeah, how about when he went to Longleat to see the menagerie? And then there was when he had that secret meeting with Jason Knopf at Kensington Palace. Don't ask me how I got this image, but I know people. That was that secret meeting that he had at Kensington Palace. and when I saw this, I couldn't believe it either, but he managed to get an audience with the Queen, albeit, you know, by Zoom. But yeah, the Queen actually had to endure conversation. And as you can see, she just laughed at him. She ain't never seen nothing like it before. But duty calls, and you know, he was invited to the coronation, and well, I mean, I'm sorry, the Jubilee. He was invited to the Jubilee. It's one thing when you talk to him on a Zoom call, but when you have to spend time with him, as you can see from her face, she's not amused. And of course, trooping the colors is a real hassle. You can see he's wearing his KFC belt. The Queen made him the Earl of or whatever of KFC, the Duke of KFC, and then of course Coronation Day. You know, Harry and Meghan tried to get him to get a nice suit for the wedding. He could have wore that suit, but well, he wouldn't hear of it. So there he is in his usual outfit that he wears when he goes to make his chicken run, when he goes to get some beer from the convenience store in Rosarito. And if you're wondering, besides being Yeti, what else is there? I believe that Thomas Markle Sr. is the secret love child of Otis the Wino from the Andy Griffith Show and Aunt B from the Andy Griffith Show. The resemblance is uncanny. You could see it. You could see it. If I could just get a few of his hair follicles, I could prove it. But clearly, that's how he ended up in California, because that's where he was conceived, on the set of the Andy Griffith Show. There he is, the Duke of Mexico, out buying beer and chicken. This scene was actually cut from The Crown. It never made it into the final cut. Post-production, it seemed rather risky, so they eliminated that from the Crown. You see? And there's the other Yeti. Look at there. They all seem to have traits that are very similar. So somehow, some way, Thomas Markle Sr., the President of the United States, and that other privileged, overindulgent person, hoghead Piers Morgan, they're all related. They are all related somehow. See there? They say if a Yeti can see his shadow, we have 6 more weeks of winter. Yeah, they took that during his first administration. And with that, you guys, I'm going to say good night. Thank you so much. And as always, thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Thank you, moderators, for keeping this the safe space that it always has been. And yeah, there you go. All right, so I will see you guys next time. And I am just going to go back and watch some more Meghan. What can I say? I'm hooked. Okay? All right, and you guys, do not forget to let me see here, to make sure you keep Mamie Ricks in your prayers. Okay, make sure you keep her in your prayers. It's what we do in this community, so do make sure you keep her in your prayers. Okay, all right, I will see you all next time. Love you guys. Good night.